about the definition of Islam. Normally, whenever someone's asked a question about the definition of Islam, you say it's submission in a broad sense towards Allah. I'd just like to know the definition of Islam given in Hadith Jibril.
Yeah.
That gives the five sort of Akhbirni an Islam, and the Prophet replies in terms of the five pillars of Islam.
Yeah.
So could you just let me know, is that in contradiction with your definition of what you say is submission, or does that still sort of coincide with that?
Okay, excellent. Just maybe one of the best questions that we had for today. As you know, there is a disagreement in the definition of Islam. Ash'aris, Hanbalis, Salafis. When we say Ash'aris, it will include Shafi'is and Malikis. So Ash'aris, Salafis, okay, when we say Salafis, it will include the Hanbalis also. They say the meaning of Islam. So if you ask them, like initially, what's the meaning of Islam? So they will give you that Hadith Jibril. They say, yes, it is. Islam is 5 things. Okay, but we Maturidis would disagree with them. Okay, Islam is actually submission. So that is the thing. Okay, so it's my answer was based on this issue of disagreement, because I do not follow Salafi or Ash'ari position. I class them as, for example, groups of Islam, but I do not follow them. Okay, well, respect is there. Hanbalis, Abdul Qadir Jilani, Hanbalis, Ibn al-Jawzi, Ash'aris, for example, Al-Mawardi, okay, and we have this, many great, glorious, but we disagree. And does my definition, does Hanafi and the Maturidi definition, does it conflict with Salafi / Ash'ari? I say yes, if you take it literally. But if you try to understand, it should not. Because if you just go, so for example, for us, it's not possible that you will be Muslim, but you are hypocrite. Okay? So, same thing with them. But you can, you can pronounce La ilaha illallah as well, because Hadith says, and tashhadu an la ilaha illallah. So you bear testimony. So you can bear testimony, and you can go to Hajj, fasting, praying 5 times a day, and going to Hajj. So you can do all of them, but yet remain hypocrite. Do you understand? So Ash'aris and Salafis, they don't say that Muslim can be hypocrite also. Okay, so it's not matchable. Means when they say Islam is them 5 things, they don't actually mean it. They don't believe in it. Because further, as a consequence, it's possible that 5 them things could be performed by hypocrite. But they say hypocrisy and Islam are contrary. It does not come together. Okay, so that's quite important. But then, how to understand that hadith? So first of all, we say there are another narrations also, regardless if it's weak, authentic, so in which it says, Jibril didn't ask about mal Islam, but Jibril asked, وَمَا شَرَائِعُهُ. Shara'i'a is the rituals. So then 5 things are just rituals of Islam, but Islam is different thing. Okay, yeah, so our main thing, we, for example, say, it's not possible that after you, so you being Muslim will necessitate that you are a noble person. Okay, but can it be that you perform them 5 pillars, which is people claim to be pillars, but yet you are, for example, evil person? Is it possible? You say La ilaha illallah, you pray 5 times a day, pay zakat, fast, you go to Hajj, but you are a serial killer and you are an evil guy. Is it possible to do? Yes, but in our definition, it's impossible that you are Muslim, but then you are evil guy. Because it does not stay together, doesn't stitch together. Okay, because Islam is submitting to God. Not possible that you are submitting to God, but yet you are evil. Not possible. But by chance, you can commit sin, yes. But you are evil, not possible. You're not submitting to God. So that's quite important. And also, for example, 5 things which is mentioned in that hadith. So, for example, praying. When it became compulsory to pray, according to the narrations, it's in Mi'raj, and when Mi'raj happened, after 10 years after Prophet starting the mission. So, does it mean that Islam existed without its most important pillar for 10 years? And what about Zakat and Sawm? It came after 1 year after the migration. So that is 14 years after Prophet calling for Islam. And also, what about Hajj? It came one of the last compulsions, and it came after about 6 years after the migration. So that is 20 years. Okay, means Prophet came and he was calling for everything but not for Islam. Is it possible? Do you accept it? You don't accept. So means you accept that Islam is submission, because Prophet came from day one, he did call the people to Islam, means submission. But he didn't call for namaz. Namaz came after 10 years. Zakat and Sawm came after 14 years, 1 year after migration, after Badr. And this Hajj came after 5 or 6 years after the migration. So that's 20 years. Okay, and because it is just rituals of Islam. For example, not drinking alcohol is one of the rituals of Islam. Okay, so praying is one of the rituals of one of the compulsions of Islam. Okay, we have plenty of them. Okay, some of them are more important and some of them are less important, but it is just rituals of Islam. But Islam is different thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So in terms of this, the issue of like a differences of the schools of thought about the definition of Islam. Yeah, but I do understand that the most popular opinion definition of Islam is the Salafi/Ash'ari opinion, because Maturidis you hardly find any in our time. Okay, so even the Hanafis of our time, they are Ash'aris. Okay, some of them are Ash'aris, some of them are Salafis. Yeah, so that's why it made the like a Salafi and Ash'ari definition of Islam very popular. Or otherwise, that's not only the opinion. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the way I understand it from you is that it comes from within. It's not the outward expression, just like anything in life comes from within.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you just go back to read Quran. Whenever God says Islam speaks about Islam, so if you go with the definition of Salafis and Ash'aris, it doesn't make sense. But if you go with the definition which says Islam means submitting, so then it makes sense actually.
Yeah, and it also explains the fact that there is no compulsion in Islam, because how can you force somebody to believe in something?
Exactly, yeah. But you can make someone, okay, to say La ilaha illallah and to pray, to fast, but he will be still hypocrite. So you can force him. But God says La ikraha fid din. Okay, so there are many other ayats also where God specifically mentioned this word of Islam, and if you take the meaning of 5 times a day and fasting, so it does not make sense. So ayah will be incorrect. Yeah, so Islam means submission, no doubt.